Hello guys and welcome back to TirsbaekTV and welcome to what is a brand new series for us. And as this is the very first episode of this, we're going to need to do a little bit of explaining to set it all up. But basically this is an idea we had after we did the Q&A video for our 2,000 subscriber celebration, because we kind of came up with this little like studio setup when we did the Q&A, and we kind of wanted to make use of it a bit more. And also the Q&A was a really popular video, so we thought why not make a more discussion-y type thing every month where we discuss like car news. That doesn't necessarily have to be Land Rovers, although it might focus a bit on that. And also each month you guys can submit questions to us for a Q&A segment on the show. So we're basically doing a monthly Q&A, so submit your questions and we'll answer them monthly. And then another idea we had, and again this is all experimental, but another idea we had was that you guys can send in pictures of your Land Rovers and we'll comment on them, or you can ask questions about them and we will answer them to the best of our ability. Now this, like I say, is all extremely experimental. This is the very first episode, so we're sort of making it up as we go along, but future episodes should hopefully have a little bit more structure. It's just because this is the very first one, so we don't necessarily have a lot of material to build on straight from episode 1, but we're going to give it a go. And the name of the show at the moment, unless we film this and suddenly find out that name's being used or something, but the name for now is Garage Talk, and that's what we came up with. It's not that imaginative. No, we're in a garage, we're talking. Yeah. That's Bob, he's a bobtail, so we call him Project Bob. That extends the creativity of our naming.
But it works.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think my first child is just going to be called like Bobby Two Legs or something, because that's how creative we are. But the first bit of the show, we're going to discuss car news from the past month, and the first one, and obviously a very big one, particularly in Land Rover, is the release of the Discovery 5, although I don't think it's actually called the Discovery 5, but it's the 5th generation. Yeah. Here's a picture, there'll be a picture somewhere at some point on the screen, but I'll talk about some highlights. It has lost 480 kilos over the previous model, which is just like an insane amount of weight. And the Discovery was always a really heavy car, so that's a good thing. It has roll stability control, which is it's a thing that the Range Rover has, which basically reduces body roll in corners, and is now available, interestingly, with a supercharged petrol V6, which is a bit bonkers. But thoughts?
Well, the Discovery is quite big to start off with. Actually, I'm looking at one right there, right outside.
Yeah, we've got a Discovery 3 right there, actually.
But like, it's really big and really bulky. It's more of a family car, I would say. So I'm really interested in how it's going to compare in off-roading. But I got that V6 and it's supercharged, which means it's going to have that bottom end torque. It's going to be really awesome.
I'm not sure that V6 is going to be that popular, because I mean, like, they've still got the diesels in as well. For the first time, it's going to be available with the 4-cylinder 2 litre, which is what they used in the Discovery Sport and the Evoque. Now, I think they tweaked it slightly for the Discovery, for the big Discovery, to give it slightly more power. It's like in the Discovery Sport, it's around 180, and it's above 200, I think, in the Disco 5, because it's such a big car. Yeah. But I don't know if that's going to be a bit of a gutless engine for such a big car.
But it did also shed off 400 kilos, so...
Yeah, 480 kilos.
Yeah, it's nearly 500.
Which, I don't know how, I can't remember how much the original weighed. I probably should have looked at that. But I think it was close to 3 tons, yeah, so nearly 3,000. So 480, let's say 500 kilos. That's like an insane amount of weight. And it's still a heavy car, even with that weight saving. But a lot of people as well are saying that it's lost... because it's lost that kind of bulkiness. A lot of people liked the bulky utilitarian look of the Discovery 3 and 4, and this is one of the main points for me with this new car, is that a lot of people were complaining that it's like, you know, this happens every time Land Rover brings out a new car, that it's not a proper Land Rover anymore. And it really bugs me. Because the thing is, these people that say this, I'm sure there's some of you watching, every time Land Rover brings out a new car, it's like, oh, it's not a proper Land Rover.
But what they're actually saying is it's not a Defender.
It's not a Defender. Yeah. And these are the people that wish Land Rover just made the Defender forever and nothing else. But the problem is, if they did that, they would have gone bust like years ago. Land Rover has to adapt to the way the world is going, to the market, and that is the type of car that people want. But the thing is, I have no doubt in my mind that the Discovery 5 will still work off-road.
Yeah, it still will. That's still the trademark of Land Rover.
Exactly.
That they can go anywhere and still look cool.
Yeah.
While you park it.
And it's still got all of the bits and bobs, terrain response, and it maintains everything. I don't see why it wouldn't go off-road. I mean, the thing is, I think people make the mistake of not making a difference between the people that drive them and the way the car drives.
Yeah.
Because the car will go off-road, but it's
not going to go like Bob is going to go when he's done like through all the.
Yeah, but nothing's going to go like Bob's going to go.
But there's like a difference between a trail-made Defender and the new ones. So you can say my Defender can go up that hill, but the Discovery 5 can't. But the Discovery 5 is not meant to go up that hill. It's meant to drive around in the field with a horse ring on the back.
Yeah.
You got different purposes than a full-on Defender. Because Defender just made to all-out war on off-roading pretty much, and lacks a bit of ability when you go on the road.
Absolutely. And the Discovery 5, obviously it's like, you're gonna, once you've spec'd it up, it's gonna be like a 50,000-60,000 pound car in the UK alone. And obviously you're not gonna wanna go and trash a car that's that expensive. But the problem is, if you want all the tech and, leather seats and whatever, all the comfort stuff in that car, then you're gonna end up paying that much money. So if you want something you can just, like we use our cars, you don't kind of worry about getting them scratched or muddy, because that's what they're for. You don't worry about getting a tractor dirty or dented or whatever, because it's a tool, it's not a car. And that's the way you treat them. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good car, and I really hope we can get our hands on one.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, all the complaining that it's not a proper Land Rover is a bit pathetic. I know a lot of people also complain that it doesn't look like a Land Rover, and of course, looks is a very subjective thing. So if you don't like the way it looks, then fair enough. But as a car, it'll still work off-road. So I think Land Rover have done a good job with it, and But staying on the Discovery 5, before we move on, I want to talk about the supercharged petrol V6. Because I don't know if that's a good thing.
I think it would be really awesome. Because most rally cars got V6s in it, as far as I know. And you put a supercharger on that, that's going to go really.
But rally cars weigh like 900 kilos.
It was still that shit off like 500 kilos, and you put V6 in that. I don't know how much the capacity of it is. So it's just like...
We need a bowler Discovery 5.
Yeah, but like...
Bowler, if you're watching.
The ones we saw on the Land Rover show, that was also V6s. So I think
but they were for the F-types.
Yeah, but still, that's what still made kind of like Land Rover, and Jaguar probably got some connections going on.
Yeah. There's no denying it'll be an awesome engine, but the problem is, it's not really the engine you want in a Discovery 5. Because think about it, if you buy a Discovery 5, you're probably like 50 years old and you've got like 3 kids, and you want to take it on your skiing holiday or to move your horses around for your daughters or whatever. Like, you're not going to be supercharged petrol V6
racing around.
If you live in the UK or pretty much anywhere in Europe, then that's just going to be mucho dinero. It's going to be expensive.
Some of them horses.
What I want to see is someone straight piping a supercharged petrol V6 Discovery.
Please do it for somebody.
That would probably sound the nuts. So that should be very interesting. Anyway, I think we should move on, because we spent quite a while on that. The next thing for car releases is Mercedes have revealed that they're releasing a pickup truck, or actually 2 pickup trucks, which I think is going to be called the X-Class.
Was that also Tesla got an X-Class, or what was that?
That's the Model X.
Model X, yeah.
So, Mercedes is quickly running out of alphabets. They're just going to start using, like, the Danish alphabet. They have the U model. Or the Greek alphabet, and they have the Omega model or something, I don't know. But again, V6 engine is what it's going to be available with. That's pretty much all, because it's a concept at the moment, so it's just like, they can say whatever. It's like, you'll have a V17 with 53 litres and it'll run on dark matter or something. I don't know. V6 engine, not surprising. And there's going to be 2 different versions. one of them is like an actual, hardcore pickup you'd want to get muddy and take on a mountain trail or something, and another is one that's more like a fashion item. But either way, Mercedes, and this is a quote, say that it will be the industry's first true premium pickup truck. Now, my biggest concern with this is that Mercedes are going to make a pickup truck and then try and make it like luxurious and like the modern G-Wagons.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, where do modern G-Wagons end up? Beverly Hills, Knightsbridge,
Russia,
Moscow. Like you don't see them battling through the rainforest or like hurling sheep around on a farm or something.
Or people camping in them or anything.
So I don't know. I mean, they look awesome. Or actually, I don't know about the posh one, the city one, but the green one.
Yeah.
If you saw the picture of that, there'll be a picture up on the screen. The green one looks awesome, and it's got a winch and it's got beefy tyres. But the interior looks like any other Mercedes. It's it's leather and wood dash, and which isn't. It's not. So I don't know how that's going to work. And also, if they're doing all that, putting all that posh stuff in it, it's also going to have a big price tag.
Yeah.
So like, where's the market? It's tough to say.
Maybe they're just so comfortable they're gonna completely spec out the inside with their finest leather and everything because they believe they're gonna go through a mothole without getting stuck, so they don't need to go outside.
That's a very good point, because like if you think about when we did that summer off-roading trip last year, we got completely covered in mud because we kept getting stuck.
Yeah.
If we never got out of our cars, we could have just done it in tuxedos. That's a new video. We're doing off-roading in tuxedos, see how clean we can stay.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have a lot of faith in their product, but it's still that quote that it's going to be the first premium pickup truck. So it's like they're not even hiding the fact that it's going to be like a posh pickup. But like posh pickups have never worked, as far as I know.
No.
So yeah, we'll see. But I imagine it will have some cool tech, and it'll probably borrow stuff from the G-Wagon, maybe even like the 6x6, because that had all the you could adjust the tire pressures and everything from inside the cabin.
And the extended chassis maybe also.
Yeah, and the disc lockers and all that stuff. So maybe it'll borrow tech from that. We'll see. But it should be interesting. Next topic I got, this again making up as we go along. So. LRO 2016 we recently went to 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Felt like 5 minutes ago, but it was awesome for us because it was the first time we'd done something like public,
going outside TirsbaekTV.
Yeah, we went out these barn doors and out into the sunlight and everything. We put our tools down for a minute. And we met a lot of fans, which was absolutely awesome. And it was kind of unexpected. I think when people look up to you, you have to be kind of cool and confident. But I think mentally we were like, holy crap! Because we couldn't, it was the first time that we'd gone out in public and people had come up to us and recognised us. Which we absolutely loved. It was awesome talking to you guys and actually meeting the people that watch our videos. I think it's an awesome way to connect, and it's also part of the reason I think we're doing this show is so that we have a way to communicate with you guys rather than you just see us messing around with tools or making jokes to the camera. We're just kind of being ourselves now and communicating. I think hopefully we'll be back. I definitely want to go back next year.
Yeah, I want to go back there as well.
So we'd love to go back next year, maybe do other shows as well, we'll see. And who knows where the channel will be this time next year. In fact, a lot of people have been saying that we should drive over.
Yeah.
And
I would love to do that.
We don't disagree. It's just, again, financial... mucho dineros. Yeah. We need mucho... but I'm going to stop the Spanish. We need more money. Because we're not driving your car over.
No. Not gonna happen.
Because it's going to be when the Air Force flies over to the Middle East, we're going to need fuel tankers. Yeah. Doing mid-motorway refueling with Nissa's car, because we won't get very far on a tank. Nope. My car still won't be that cheap, but it's probably the only viable option. So we'll see. Maybe we'll drive over. But any highlights from the show?
Any highlights was. Probably the Land Rover stand with all the new vehicles and the special edition ones and the old series. That was kind of like the first
bit of
thing.
everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like the first thing we saw when we go in through the gates. The first thing I saw. So that was pretty cool to have a look at that.
Because they didn't have the Huey 166, had they, the original?
No, they didn't.
But they did have the last Heritage, like the last Defender, which is really cool. It was actually quite difficult to see that and think that's the last one.
It's going to be the newest one forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's the newest Defender for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of mind-boggling. I don't know, if there was one car you could take away from that show and keep as your own, what would it be?
One car I could take away. It's going to be the 101.
Counting down.
Yeah, the 101 that we saw, the one in the competition.
Yeah, the modified.
Yeah, the modified camper, or the Series 3 that was next to it with the V8 in it.
Oh, it was a V8, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it a 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5 or 3.9, I can't remember that. But one of those two, and the Series 3 was a big inspiration for me for building that other trucker back there. Took loads of pictures of it, how we got it back together. So that is kind of like the thing I want the Creeper to look like once he's done here. At some point. No idea when it's going to get done.
Some point in the future.
But that was like a kind of like seeing the Creeper in all its glory. But one of those two probably.
It was a time portal.
Yeah.
The Creeper.
Like when.
So yeah, it was a good example of that. I think I would agree that the gunmetal grey 101 is probably on my list. Either that or one of the V6 F-type bowlers, because they were actually road legal, if I remember.
Yeah.
They had license plates on them. So having a 400 horsepower bowler on the road, can't complain. So it'd be one of those two. Anyway, moving on, because we've now kind of covered the car news bit for today, I think. Or have we?
Well, about all these meetup and stuff, there's just a quick thought I just had now, talking together, is we might actually do some Land Rover stuff. Once we get Bob done, a proper trail Land Rover, we could probably do some Danish meetups, because I know there's a Danish Land Rover club that does like some off-roading here and there. When you go and talk and drive around, that'll be pretty cool to make some vlogs. Us going to one of those meets with Bob on a trailer and lugging off and driving through mud and stuff and putting them back on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm putting my gloves on because I'm cold. This isn't a posh studio.
No, it's not.
This is an actual barn. Absolutely. We definitely want to do more meetups, and I don't know how much of a fan base we have in Denmark. To be honest.
I think there are some, but probably not as big as England and so on.
No, not as much.
But still, when you just take a Land Rover there, you'll automatically be friends with everybody there.
Yeah.
So it's not like a fan meetup or so, it's just us going out having fun, really.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to do some kind of meetups where we could bring like the actual cars.
Yeah.
Because like when we came to the LRO show, for example, hang on a second. Nope. Okay. Technical issues. Ignore that. When we went to the LRO show, of course, we didn't have our cars, and they're kind of just as much, if not more, the stars of the show. So to do like a meetup where we can actually bring our cars would be awesome. Right, now I think we have ended the news section.
Yeah.
And like now, I don't know how I'm going to chop this up or edit it. We'll see. And I don't even know how long we've been going for. But next thing I want to talk about is like Q&A.
Yeah.
So even though this is the first episode, I think we have some questions left over from the last Q&A.
Yeah.
Because there were people already submitting questions for like Q&A 2.0. So I will find those on my phone. Unless you can entertain people when I find them.
I'm not very good at entertaining.
You're doing a stellar job. Okay, here we have a question from Daniel Edwards. What's your favourite Land Rover moment? That's quite a broad question. But I'll go first. What you think?
Yeah.
I can probably narrow it down to a few. Recently, in the summer, I think it was in August, Nissa and I drove a Heritage Edition Huey 166, like final edition Defender, all the way from here where we live to the capital, which is Copenhagen of this country, and that was like a 2.5-hour drive, and I drove it all the way there, and it was awesome, and I love driving that because it was one of the last Defenders. It was a Defender, but it had like creature comfort, so it was quite enjoyable to drive.
And it's brand new as well.
It's brand new, less than 1,000 kilometers on it. So that would be up there. I don't know if that would be the moment. I'm just kind of doing a short list. Next one, when we put the straight pipe on my car, I think, because I remember hearing that sound for the first time and just like, I was obsessed with it. I was just like giggling like a schoolgirl when I heard that, because like, yeah, there's that face that every petrol head makes when you hear your new exhaust sound, and that was one of them. So those are my two, unless I think of more.
I think my first one might be when I got my car the very first time.
I still remember that, actually.
Picked it up and took it in through the woods. We also got footage from that, actually.
Oh god, yeah, I remember we took your car and we got it stuck.
Oh yeah, we also did that.
I got a picture of it. I think I've got a picture of it on my phone.
Very first day it got stuck. So we got that one, and then we also got maybe the first time I ever drove. That was an old series, and then the pickup in the furthest barn away. I think the first time I drove that around in low gear. I was like 8 or 9 years old. Got to drive that around the yard here. That was a pretty big moment. Probably one of those two.
Yeah, it's difficult to narrow it down because like most moments are pretty awesome. Yeah. So it's difficult to narrow it down to one. What other questions do we have? This isn't a question actually, but it was a message we received. I've lost the ability to talk. So I'll bring it up anyway, because we can consider this a discussion bit rather than Q&A, let's say. So if you have messages or whatever you want to send us. Now, this says, like, I don't know how legit this is, because this is just a message on the internet. It could be from anyone. But I'll read it out anyway, because it's an interesting topic. It says, my mate works for JLR, and the new Defender was shown to him on CAD-CAM. CAD-CAM is computer-aided design, if you don't know, so like a 3D model. And it's on the new Range Rover chassis, and will have the 2-litre 4-cylinder out of the new Discovery 5. And a V6 option, and it's also still going to look like a 110 and a 90, but different from the front end due to new crash test regulations. And that's from Jordan Beard. Again, I don't know how legit that is, but from what I've also heard, the new Defender is actually going to be fairly similar to the current one, but just kind of modernised.
Yeah.
So that's kind of believable. And the engines as well, 2-litre 4-cylinder from the Disco 5 and a V6, again, sounds believable. Thoughts? Anything?
I think it's stuck a big engine in it. You got the opportunity to get V6 in it.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for that supermodel with the V8 in it, bringing that back.
Exactly, because that was one thing that Nissa and I have always said, that like, why didn't Land Rover, with the, they did the 3 final editions for the Defender, the Autobiography, the Heritage and the Adventure, but why did they not do an SVR version? Like, they got the SVR Range Rover with the bonkers 550 horsepower V8 in it, which does like 0 to 60 in 5 seconds or something. So why not do that for the Defender, for the last one? I know it's kind of not the idea behind the Defender.
No.
But think about it. Even if it cost Land Rover a fortune, they could have put like £150,000 price tag on it, made it really limited units, and they still would have made a profit on it. I'm sure they would have.
Definitely.
There would have been interest in it. They could have taken the 5-litre V8 from the F-Type, stuck it in a Defender, maybe kind of tweak the suspension a bit and anti-roll bars to make it kind of more stiff on the road. And have a Defender SVR as one of the final editions. Like, how epic would that have been? It bugs me so much.
And also be able to competitive with the later G classes with the V8 bike.
Yeah, the GA.
They thought a good idea to smack a V8 in there from a big truck.
Yeah.
Why don't Land Rover just try it out and see? Because as you say, they'll probably make a profit off it no matter what.
Because exactly, they could have just stuck a huge price tag on it, and people still would have bought it. Like, I don't think there's any doubt in that.
No.
Because like the Autobiography edition of the Defender was like, I think they were, like 80 grand or something. That was the top of the range one. And I know for a fact that people were queuing up or people were asking about those before they were even announced. Like, there was that much interest in them. So if they'd made if that was 80 grand, let's say they made one that cost 100 grand or 120 grand with a V8 in it, it would have sold. I'm almost certain. So Land Rover, why? Why? Because like Nissa said, AMG is like the special division of Mercedes. SVR is the special division of Land Rover. Why not? I mean, Bowler did it with the V6.
Yeah.
They could have done it with the V6 as well. It still would have been pretty cool. If Bowler can do it, then a company like Land Rover surely.
Because we have to do it ourselves now. We have to do the translation ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. We need to make an SVR edition Defender. That's slightly higher up the budget chain.
Yeah.
Next, I think this is the last one I have. What is yours and Naz's? I have a feeling he means Nizza.
Yeah, NASA's.
Like, I was thinking, if you were in the band Gorillaz, I think your name would be Nazza.
NASA.
I don't know why. It just sounds kind of Gorillaz-y.
I'll be the clueless one.
So, what is yours and Naz's favourite Land Rover? Mine is a 90. I think we actually had this question before.
Yeah.
Or did we answer this one?
Pretty sure we did.
We might have answered this one, or someone else asked it. I can't remember, but either way, this is. We'll answer it anyway. Mine, my own. I'm going to say that again. I've said that before.
Yeah.
It would be my own or an SVR Range Rover. That's my answer.
Ooh. Mine was probably the shape of the 88H Series 3, like retro look. My own, of course, and probably a 101 with like the shape of those. And of course also the SVR, that's standard.
SVR, that's standard. Actually, and then one, we can actually, I have one Land Rover sent in by a fan that I can show, because I actually posted this on social media the other day.
Oh, that series.
Yeah. So I may as well put it in the video. Why not? So this is from Will J. I won't say your last name just in case you don't want it said. But Will, you sent in a picture of your Series 1, which was converted to a V8, which I think is awesome because you do not see many Series 1s with V8s. Something happened with camera. We're back. Yeah, V8 and a Series 1 sounds awesome because, like I said, they're tiny and why not? It sounds like it would be fun.
Proper nice cruiser you can drive around with.
And I think the thing is actually that there are two, like Series 1s are rare enough and there are too many purists that people wouldn't want to stick a V8 in it.
Yeah.
So like people would just restore it back to how it is, which is fine, but I think it's awesome that you've done something different. So good on you. So that's pretty much it, I think. I can't think of anything else. That actually, we went on for way longer than I thought we did. Would.
Again.
Which is probably better than not having enough to talk about. So, hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know your feedback. And also, like we said, leave questions for Q&As or messages for discussions or whatever. You know, if there's something you want us to talk about, if you have questions to ask us, if you have pictures of your own car you want to see on the show for us to talk about, you can send us pictures.
Yeah.
Whether that's on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, carrier pigeon, horseback, or whatever other medium you can find, or email. That's the other one, email. That's the old school one that we always forget.
Or fax.
Or fax. We don't have one of those. We don't have a fax.
Probably got a fax somewhere here.
We probably have.
We got everything.
So, whatever you want, send us your stuff, and we will take a look. Sorry, this has probably all been like quite fragmented and disorganized just because it's the first episode. It's something we want to give a go. We're going to do another one next month, assuming this one goes to plan. And that's that. So thank you so much for watching. Go check out all our social media stuff in the description box below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Go check out our website where you can also find our shop where you can get TirsbaekTV clothing as presented by Nissa and me, but I'm too cold to take my jacket off. And that is that. And also check out Tiersbaek Vlogs, our second channel, for extra stuff if you want to see that as well. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya.